Welcome back to our Bluesy Water channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about a general category I call lightning therapy. For anyone who's used the epower machine, this is an excellent video to pay attention to. There's a new therapy out of Russia that I discovered a while back, and I call it Vortex Static Charge Therapy. Essentially, it's very similar to the epower. It's a high frequency, very powerful electrical field, static charge field. Now, I've used the epower in treatments with all modalities of body work, and it's especially helpful for acupuncture. The differences between this vortex therapy and the epower is that the epower runs at 70,000 hertz. This therapy runs at 310,000 hertz. The epower is more like a Soqi hose. You wrap the belt around you, and it uses your body as a capacitor. So I equate it to like a garden where you have a Soqi hose. The vortex therapy is like when your hose has a very aggressive spray on it. It's much more aggressive. It's much deeper acting than the epower, and it's much more profound on microbes. It is essentially the 1-2 punch along with medical ozone therapy for people with very heavy-duty microbial infectious states such as Lyme disease, etc. Also, I can send you a Dropbox with a whole list of health issues that this coil works on. And so it's known as also the mission coil or the Tesla coil, but it has some very, very unique design capabilities. Seems awfully simple, but it's very powerful, much deeper acting in terms of cutting into the body than the epower. The epower is very effective, but this you really have to be careful. You won't sell this without practitioner support. It's imperative to treat the kidneys and the liver, and the body will go through some serious Herxheimer reactions when you do this. If anyone has used the epower, I don't care if you use it for 10 years, this will go to a whole new level of excavating deeper layers that are stored in the body. So I'm a real fan of what I call lightning therapy. Ozone is made from lightning. It's oxygen that's hit with corona discharge, which mimics lightning strikes. The epower and this vortex therapy are both what I call lightning therapies. There's a very important issue that I have focused on in recent years, especially for people when we get older, is that it becomes much more challenging to permeate literally into every cell, deep into every cell. So there's only a handful of therapies that I consider cell permeable. Probably the most cell permeable therapy, which actually is a good balancing for this, the lightning therapy, is called Brown's gas or HHO, hydrogen therapy. Hydrogen molecule is by far the smallest molecule in the universe. And when you breathe the gas, it permeates literally down to the RNA and DNA of every cell. This therapy I consider second most. This vortex electrical therapy, hugely permeable, gets down to the cells. Now it has to cut through a few layers. It doesn't instantly peel everything away. You don't go back to a 20-year-old body, but it literally will lighten you and unpeel layer by layer. Very deep acting, very fiery therapy. Whereas the hydrogen is a very anti-inflammatory calming therapy. So anybody wanting to do this therapy, I highly recommend, if you can afford it, to balance it by getting the hydrogen therapy. Now you have two amazing cellular therapies. Hydrogen is very nurturing. It's kind of like mother energy. It soaks into the cell. It helps the body rebuild, puts out the fire of inflammation, whereas this vortex electrical therapy cuts deep, burns through with fire energy. So it's a great 1-2 punch. Third therapy that I consider very cellular permeable, literally can get to every cell, is pulsed electromagnetic therapy. It's literally like a magnetic field that'll go through you like an MRI. I equate the electrovortex therapy and the epower to lightning, like sitting in a cloud and bathing in lightning. The PMF is a magnetic field that literally can get down to the cell, and it acts as a magnetic pumping great for neuroregulation, great for accelerating site-specific healing at the cell site. There. So essentially, those are probably the three most permeable therapies I know of. Ozone therapy is also quite permeable. It will dump into the bloodstream and go everywhere, but you can only do a small amount of it. You can't, do it on an ongoing basis. Whereas with epower, as anyone who knows, you can do it up to 3 hours at a time. With a vortex therapy, you could do it as long as you want once you adapt, but you have to be careful. With the PMF, you can do as long as you want. In the hydrogen in Asia, they do it sometimes 24/7 in hospitals. So that's the beauty of those three therapies, is the longevity, the duration of time. So it's very, very critical to, especially as we get older, to work on inflammation and to be able to cut through what I call chi stagnation, which means blockages in the body, and get to cells where they essentially become very compromised. It's very, very imperative to have both the ability to cut through with the fire therapies and have the anti-inflammatory balancing therapies. Really, most therapies, when it comes to technologies, tend to lean on the fire side. Kind of talking Ayurvedically now. So you need to balance it with hydrogen, which is a massive anti-inflammatory, healing, calming therapy. All right, please contact me, Andrew, at bluesdewater.com. And if you want to learn more about the vortex therapy, I think it's one of the top 5 tools in holistic medicine that everybody should have for their home clinic. Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.